Hey everyone, and welcome to this call tonight. And we are super excited. I'm on here with Jennifer Emery and myself, who's my accountability buddy. So you don't need to be in the same team to be buddies with somebody, remember. And a mixture of our team, but we have the amazing and wonderful Danielle Natoni that is going to talk to us tonight about fit clubs. And a couple of reasons why. Firstly, obviously they're awesome. Secondly, nobody's really doing them. And thirdly, I know Danielle said when I met up with her in Liverpool and when we travelled all over, that if she was to redo the UK launch and do anything slightly differently, it would be very much to train out Fit Club and talk about the power of Fit Club because of how beneficial it was to Danielle's business. So this is not about me talking. I really want Danielle to share her part. But I also want you to think about some questions that you may have, the things that have maybe stopped you from doing it, that if Danielle doesn't answer it, that we get it answered here as well. So Danielle, welcome to our call. It's great to have you on here tonight. I'm going to make sure everyone else is muted, so bear with me while I do that and then unmute you. There we go. And now over to you, Danielle.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me on. I'm excited to talk to you guys. And you know, here's the thing. I'm not a Fit Club expert. However, hold on. You can take a picture. Let me be cute. Great. So I always say it when I'm like scrolling Instagram, and because I'm such a hand talker, you know, so people get like a screen grab and they're like, oh my gosh, amazing call with Danielle and Tony. And I'm like, so anyway, I'm not a Fit Club expert. However, I do believe in the power of them. They are how I built my business early on. And I think that, like SJ said, if I were to like relaunch the UK, I would start with that. And here's why. It's new. Beachbody, yes, you guys have heard of Insanity, but like no one knows who Chris Downing is, or even really Autumn is just starting to get, you know, some like notoriety and people heard about that. But like other than like Sean and maybe Tony, Beachbody is pretty unknown in the UK. They've not had the opportunity to try our programs. They've never heard of Shakeology, and they're not really sure why they should be drinking that shake. And so Fit Clubs are an opportunity for you to become a resource in your community first. And I think where we went, I don't want to say wrong, but where I think what we could have done differently or better would have been, instead of focusing on social media right away, and I'm not telling you to abandon social media, because social media takes time to build trust. So I need you to continue to build that. But what I am saying is that while you're building up that trust on social media, you need to be active in your community. You need to be the go-to crazy Beachbody lady in your town. And you have two really good opportunities. One, the Fit Club from the fitness aspect, but two, to-be mindset groups. And I think, you know, I know SJ is really passionate about starting like these to-be mindset groups and kind of like taking on Slimming World and whatever other, you know, things. Yeah, the things that you have like that. But, you know, here's the thing with Fit Clubs or to-be mindset, whichever you do. Just assume that when I say Fit Club, I mean whether you're doing a Fit Club with our fitness programs, or whether you're doing a to-be mindset group, or whether you're culminating both. But here's what I know. You guys are a little more skeptical than we are in the US, from what I understand. And so when you bring this to your community first, and you can actually get people in a room, let them see that you're a real life person, that you're not just trying to sell them something, that you actually do care about them and their results. They get to see your passion. They get to meet other like-minded people. Why is group fitness so popular? Why, like, even Zumba? I don't know if you guys have that there, but like, why are things like that, or Les Mills? Why is that such a phenomenon? Because people love community, and fitness sucks alone. Let's just be honest. Even me, as much as I love working out, like, it can be challenging alone. That's why we do challenge groups. And that's even why we get on calls like this. We want the power of community. And so when I decided early on in my business, and it started off slow, and when I was like, okay, I'm going to try this Fit Club thing, that's when I saw my business start to take off. So again, not an expert, but let me give you some step-by-step things that I did that you can do. Number one is find a free space first. Utilize your resources. So I was a teacher. So I'm like, okay, let me look at the index of all the parents of my kids in my classroom. And there was a dad in my classroom who owned a karate studio. And so I reached out to him and I said, hey, here's what I'm thinking. I'd love to use your place one night a week. And in turn, I'd be bringing people into your studio. So maybe people would wind up doing karate there. And because he just liked me, he gave me a key and he was like, you know what? The only time that I can give you to do this is Monday night at 8 p.m. And I'm like, okay, sold. I'll take it. And the Fit Club stayed at Monday night at 8 p.m. for like 2 years. So before you go rent a space, look at your resources. Who are your friends? Does your kid go to a dance studio? Does your kid take gymnastics? I have a lot of people that I know, even just from certifying in insanity, that, for example, their kids do gymnastics. And so the parents just sit around waiting for their kids' class to be done. And so there might be a pocket or a corner of that gym that'd be available for you to use. So before you start seeking out a paid place, because that might be an option, you might have to do that. See, does anyone have a free space? And you guys, there's also nothing wrong, if you're comfortable with it, of inviting people into your home. So if you're comfortable with that, right, and it's going to be smaller, maybe you are inviting them into your home, or I would say into your garage, but I'm guessing it's cold there. But you get my point. There are options. You just might have to think outside the box. So your number one thing is, okay, where am I going to hold this thing? For a while in the summer here in Texas, I used to have mine outside at the park. We met up at the park and got outside. And again, I realize, especially right now, that's not an option for you guys. But start by really going through your list of people. Who do you know that has access to a space? Maybe you attend a church that would let you use, the basketball court at the church. I don't know, but there's somebody that that would be willing to offer you space at no charge, simply because they like you, or because they believe in you, or because there's cross-promotion opportunities, right? So maybe it's a dance studio, and the cross-promotion opportunity is that they're coming into the dance studio, and that dance studio might offer your Fit Club participants $10 off their first lesson, right? Like, get really creative with ways that you can maximize the space, because if you have to pay for the space for your Fit Club, then you're going to have to start thinking about, okay, you're going to put a little bit more stress around, if I need to sell these many challenge packs, or I need to get this much commission in order to break even. And so free is your first option, and utilize all your resources. Number 2, team up with people. There might be somebody who lives near you that would want to do this together, right? So maybe then, if you are having to pay for space, you guys are splitting costs, but you're also splitting responsibility. So that maybe, like, if SJ and Ann were partnered up, then every other week, SJ is going to run it, and on the opposite weeks, Ann's going to run it, and that would, be a little bit of shared responsibility. So just something to be mindful of. Also know that you don't have to do this alone, right? This is a perfect opportunity to bring in team members or cross-team. Doesn't even have to be the same team. Okay, thing number 2, you guys have it so easy with Beachbody On Demand. Back in the day, when I started my Fit Club, I had to bring a projector with like DVDs and try to figure out that whole situation. And we didn't even have as many programs to choose from. All you guys need is your iPad or your laptop. Now, is it cool if you can get it streamed onto a big TV or a wall? Sure. Do you need that? No. Literally, this iPad right here is enough power for you to show how cool Beachbody On Demand is. And then your job, if you're doing the fitness side of it, is to work out alongside everybody and then just be a motivator, right? So if Bola starts really like stressing out with the loops, just SJ might go over to her and be like, it's okay, you can use the yellow loop instead of the blue, right? Like, you have that is your job, is to make these programs seem less stressful. Now, at a Fit Club, though, your number one job is to be an information collector. The fortune is in their email address. So if somebody shows up to your Fit Club, you need to have, whether it's just an old school clipboard with a piece of paper that says their name, their email address, who invited them. And who invited them is important, because if SJ signed a coach and her coach brought a customer. Obviously, SJ is really excited, but she wants to make sure that that customer signs up under her coach, not under her, right? So whether it's that, whether you have out an iPad or a computer for people to type in their information, but the actual like fortune is in after the Fit Club, SJ messaging everybody and saying, thank you so much for coming tonight. I hope you guys really enjoyed Shift Shop Speed 25. As you can see, in 25 minutes, we were able to get such an amazing workout. I cannot wait to see you guys all next week. By the way, I am going to give away one beach bar to every person who brings a friend next week. I don't know, right? So what are like some incentives, giveaways that you can do to make this really fun? The other thing that I did at my Fit Clubs is if we all did this. So initially, I know I'm all over the place, but it's fine. Initially, when I first did this, I would do a different program every week because my goal was like I wanted to show the different range of programs, right? Because not everybody's going to want to do Max 30. Probably many people will not want to do Max 30, and so people are going to want to do different things. So my initial goal was to show the range. Look at all the different kinds of programs that we have. And I basically did the ones that required little to no equipment so that they also could see how easy this travels, how they really didn't need anything else but their home to get things done. Also, my thought process is like, if I didn't do a full program, then they really needed access to, back then, the DVDs, but to now to Beachbody On Demand to do the program that they loved. I also did do sometimes like a boot camp, like I did an insanity boot camp where we did the full 60 days together, which meant that once a week we did the scheduled workout together, and then the other days they had to do insanity at home on their own. What's fun about that is I took their before pictures, I took their before measurements, I took their before weight, and we made like a party out of like the before. And then we made a party at the after where I took their after photos. So that way I made sure, and I just put up like a little like, I don't know. I don't even think I had a curtain. I think we just like went off into a corner, and I took everybody's like before and after photos so that they had them correctly done, and that I was the one that did their measurements and I was the one that did their weight so that they didn't have to stress about that. And we had balloons at the end, and it was like a lot of fun to really celebrate the fact that we got through 60 days of insanity together. And what kept them accountable in addition to a group was that once a week they had to do it live, right? So that was like really exciting. It was like, okay, yes, we're doing, 60 days of insanity, but we were going to come together. So you may look at doing your Fit Club as like, all right, we're all going to do Transform 20 together, and we're going to take our before measurements, and we're going to take our before pictures and weights, and we're going to have like a before party. And then on the 14th, we're going to do the first workout together. And then every Monday, we're going to meet and do that workout together. But the rest of the days, you guys have to go home and do it on your own. Okay, so that's another opportunity for you. As far as 2B mindset is concerned, I'm not as versed on the 2B mindset as SJ is, but I really see it working very similarly in that you would start like by taking, anytime somebody new comes in, you would take their before, you would take their measurements, you would maybe celebrate every time maybe they would submit their trackers, or, they would sit around in a circle and share like their wins for the week, or maybe they weighed in every time that they came to the 2B Mindset Club, like you might at a Weight Watchers. Like, I don't know what you might do, but there's so many opportunities for you to make this an exciting place that people want to come every week. And making the goal though, that you want people to bring a friend every time they come so that it keeps getting bigger. And then that gives you material to start sharing on social media. Because I know a lot of you guys stress out. I don't know what to post. I have nothing to post. Well, I never ran out of material to post when I had a Fit Club, because I was always posting an invitation to it. I was sharing videos from it. I was sharing photos from it. I was sharing testimonials and transformation stories. And so having a Fit Club or a 2B Mindset Club also gives you constant stuff to post about on social media. So, here's the thing. I'm really going to leave it open for questions because I know you guys probably have a ton. You're probably going to ask me about insurance and waivers. And what I would say is I don't know the laws in your country, but you can Google literally like group fitness waiver or fit club waiver. And you basically just want something that says people know that they're there at their own risk and they sign it once, and you're just going to keep it in a folder or in a binder. And you just need like a blanket one that works for, an SJ might already have access to one. I don't know. Beachbody doesn't really provide that because that's also a liability, right? So you just kind of like Google liability waiver or fitness liability waiver. And that's really not relevant at To Be Mindset. And you can charge, well, here's the thing. I never charged for my fit club. Okay. So I never charged for my fit club. However, if I was paying for a space, I would, in order to just cover the cost. Does that make sense? Like in theory, you're not supposed to make a profit off of running a fit club. The profit comes in you growing your team and selling your products and getting people on Shakeology, right? But if for some reason you can't find a free space, then as long as you're covering your cost. So if you needed to charge a $3 entry fee in order to make the monthly payment or the rental payment for the room that you were renting, that would be okay if that makes sense. And I know I've rambled and I've been all over the place, but here's what I will say is that in the UK, nobody really knows about Beachbody. And so you can post all day long how cool Beachbody is and Beachbody on Demand, but until you really make it a thing in your community and it starts spreading, because here's the other thing, we're not in an infomercial time, right? Where nobody's really turning on the TV and seeing Beachbody infomercials. So you've got to show how fun this is, how accessible it is, how, the community that it brings, the results that you're getting. Honestly, you guys, that's why I started going back to yoga. Like if you follow me, cause it's like, I needed to get out of this house. While I love building on social, I was like, I need to meet real life humans that I can affect. And so many of my yoga friends now are customers and coaches of mine. And in turn, I'm getting their social networks. And so anyway, the moral of the story is that keep doing what you're doing on social, but it's going to just be white noise because y'all are more skeptical. They haven't heard of the products. And imagine if you could give samples, and that was the other thing that I did at my fit club. Back then we didn't have beach bars. We had these gross P90X bars, but I used to slice them into little, quarters, and I would put them on little napkins so that people could try it. Right? You might even buy a box of beach bars and sell them for $2 a pop. So you cover your cost of the boxes. People are going home with a couple, trying them. And then you're like, okay, next time you're going to have to order a box for me. Really, it's this idea of having like a constant party where people can actually see Beachbody on Demand, try the workouts, try the products, and see what an amazing community it is. And then, you have something to share on social that gives social proof of why this is so exciting. I saw a question just come up. Have you ever run fit clubs for teachers? Okay, yes. That is a thing that not only that I do, but I have a lot of coaches that still do that. Check with your principal, right? Can you do it before school? Can you do it after school? So one of my coaches does it like after school, once a week on Wednesday in the gym, because it's a great place for the teachers to all get together and work out. I've even had it where they've done it for students and like their parents, like on a weekend. So here's the thing. There is no right or wrong there. And I always am of the mindset of just try it. Like, what's the worst that happens? But imagine if once a week after school, instead of having to leave the building, all the teachers came to the gymnasium, did a workout. One of my coaches, Holly McKenzie, she works on campus of a college, and she runs her fit club every day at noon, right there at the college campus gym. And that's where she builds a lot of her business. So it could even be a workplace, depending on where you work. Maybe they'll let you use a space and let the workers all at your building all come together and do a fit club that way. Do you let people attend that haven't got a bod subscription? Yes. Somebody attends because they know nothing. Like, that's the beauty. I want them to come to Fit Club and feel really free to be there. Right? And then the goal is that you show them the value of Beachbody On Demand. They try the workout. And then, yes, at some point you have to make that decision. Like, no, you can't just keep coming to my Fit Club every week and you have purchased nothing. But I want them to come 1 to 2 times first and feel really comfortable with making their purchase. And that's why that email follow-up is so important, so that you can say, hey guys, like, wasn't that so much fun? Did you love that program? Like, here's a reminder, it's 20 pounds off the challenge packs this month, right? Like, it's your opportunity to then follow up with these people after the event. But what other questions do you have for me? Or SJ, what am I missing that I've not really touched on?
I think you've covered loads in here. I would say just one thing you said about weighing in at 2B mindset, don't do that. That's like,
oh, you're not supposed to do that.
And that's the thing everyone hates at these weight loss clubs, is like that whole shame when they stand on the scale because they've had lunch. It's like gone up. But no, I think, I think it's just that taking that leap and just doing it, because it's that unknown. And it's that whole field of dreams thing where you just have to go and do it and trust that if 3 people turn up, that's like a result. That's like an awesome job. And just like Danielle said, that whole inviting them to bring more people next time and bring a friend with them and they'll get a beach bar if they do it, that's how it will grow. And I can 100% say that from just going out and joining networking groups more recently, like the trust is there, like the relationships are growing much faster, speaking to people face to face. Versus, on social media. For me personally, obviously I'm following up and it's like I'm adding them as friends and they're going into groups and it's like there's that funnel building. But yeah, they just get to know you, because we, like Danielle said, we are so skeptical here. It's unbelievable, and we have to trust people to work with them. So does anyone else have any questions on
there's a question here that says, do you talk about the subscriptions during Fit Club or more so in the emails and the follow-up? So I always did like a little intro. So like, I would just say, hey, like, here's where I wouldn't do a long one, right? So it would be like, this is Shift Shop Speed 25. Here's how I access it on Beachbody On Demand. It's so cool. It's like the Netflix of fitness. So I'm always going to give a little short spiel. But yes, the beauty really is in the follow-up email, because I don't want people to feel I'm selling to them. However, I used to do once a month, I would do a business opportunity presentation after a Fit Club, and I would let them know. And I would say, maybe I'm trying to remember if I did it like on the first Monday, or it doesn't matter, but I would let people know. I'm like, oh, and by the way, after Fit Club this week, if you're able to stay 30 minutes longer, and if you'd like to know more about doing what I do, I'd be happy to share that with you. Sometimes I'd have one person stay and I would just tell them. Sometimes I'd have a bunch of people stay, and so that's where I would explain a little bit more about not only Beachbody On Demand, but the power of being a coach and why. And then what was cool about that is I could say to them, and if you sign up to be a coach, you can bring your potential people here, which is going to help you build your business that much faster. So I always gave a little spiel about like Beachbody On Demand and why it was powerful. And hey, I made some shakes for you, so feel free to try, a little cup of it. That's my favorite recipe. And really a lot of the conversation was happening like in the buzz before and after, right? So my goal was always to be there early and to always stay a little late so that I could really like network and mingle and talk to people. So that it was also a little bit more casual, where it wasn't me just like explaining. It was like, if I had made little Energize samples and Laura tried it and be like, what do you think of that Energize? It's good, right? Like, I can't imagine life without it. Like, we're just kind of having like, like at a party, a little milling about. And how long did your Fit Club last? Like, as in time that like, so mine went from 8 to 9 was like the window. And if it was a shorter workout, they were done earlier. And if it was a longer workout, then it went right till 9. But I ran mine pretty consistently for almost 2 years. Was how long it just kept. It was really great. And what's funny about that is I had put it in our local newspaper, like our town newspaper had a spot for like club listings, and it was like free for you to make that like an announcement. And I had it in there for forever, for like years after the Fit Club stopped. And I would get emails from time to time like, is the Fit Monkey Fit Club still happening this Monday? And I'd be like, oh shoot, I really should probably tell them I'm not doing that anymore, nor does that karate studio exist But anyway, yeah, so I would give yourself an hour window, and I would just say that, like, sometimes the workouts will be shorter, and I would always let people know in advance what workout we were doing just so they were prepared. But if you give yourself an hour window, that gives you time to not feel stressed, right? And you'll have that kind of, unless you're doing 80-day obsession, then you'll need a little bit longer of time. But that gives you that kind of you probably wouldn't really do that unless you did like cardio flow or, because you're not going to really have access to equipment. But you want that window where you can buzz about and talk to them in the beginning, get started, do your little spiel, do the workout, right? And then, or do your to-be mindset circle, whatever. And then you want that time to be able to mill about afterwards and just really have great conversation. Because there's usually one lingerer, somebody who like is kind of interested, their interest is piqued, but they really just kind of want to hang back and chat with you. And that's where the magic is. Another thing that worked well, for me, actually not with the fit clubs, but something I used to do with Beachbody Live, that if I were going to run a fit club now, would be Eventbrite. You can create free tickets on Eventbrite or whatever, like similar maybe ticket app you guys have over there in the UK. And what's cool about that is people are less likely to skirt out on something when they had to sign up online. And so even when I'm hosting a class at like Fabletics next weekend, and when I do that, it's free, but I make them get a ticket because one, it'll plug into their calendar immediately. They signed up for it, so they feel really more intentional. Plus it lets you know how many people to expect. And then you don't even have to have them write down their email because you'll already have it via Eventbrite, and you can just then follow up with them that way. So that might be another something that you'd like to try.
Has anyone else got anything they want to ask? I can't believe nobody does.
I'm just that good. All my rambling was just so full circle.
You just covered everything. Let's have a look. Laura, you're thinking. I can see you thinking.
Can I have something, Danielle? So I teach Zumba now and club size. So I've cut back the number of classes that I want to teach because I was physically exhausted teaching all of them. Hence, so now it almost feels like obviously you're going back to it, but you're not teaching the classes. How would you do it if you were to fit it around a class that's already running? So if I've got a class that's currently running at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning doing Zumba, would you add that onto it whilst you are there rather than setting a completely different day, but people pay to go to that class currently?
If I had a captive audience of people attending Zumba, and wherever you teach that is cool with it, then instead of running a full-fledged fit club, I would almost make it like a cool down circle, right? Where for 30 minutes after class in your cool down circle, you're going to talk about nutrition, share, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, I don't know that you already have a captive audience of people who just sweated it out with you. And so it might be just that in your cool down circle, you have like more of like a to-be mindset chat, or you might say, because Zumba is all just cardio, you might say something like, for those of you that are interested, twice a month after our Zumba class, I am going to do more strength training style workouts with you guys and do the fit club that way, and really tailor it to doing more like ab work. So pulling all the ab programs from Beachbody On Demand, pulling more of the strength training, even if it's just like, max 30 Tabata, right? Like that's a strength workout, but you already have a captive audience of people. So it might start that way. And then you might say in this like little cool down circle, like, hey, if you really love this, I would be willing to add this onto the calendar, additional day a week where we could do some other workouts, but you already have a captive audience. So just see who wants to stay 15 minutes later and do size 8 count abs, or do, like lift. Well, you wouldn't do lift for a full body hip, but you would just spend a little time going through Beachbody On Demand and seeing what are like the 15 to 20 minute workout range, or, and that are a little bit more either core focused or strength training focused to really balance out what they're doing with Zumba. And so that way you're already kind of training them. And, it might even be too that if you're allowed to at your gym, like if I were teaching Zumba, I would make sure that I would like figure out a way to get these people to try Energize pre-Zumba so that they could see, like, so maybe if you're allowed to at this gym, I'd be like, hey guys, meet me 30 minutes before Zumba. I have like a little, for anybody that wants to try, and buy just an extra tub of Energize, give everybody like a scoop in their water bottle and let them see what it's like. And it's like, if you want more of this, I'll tell you how to order it from me, and if you're allowed to do that at the gym that you work at, that's how I would tackle that.
I don't work at gyms. I run all my own ones, so I can.
Well, then you can do all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's how I would do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Did I miss which Fit Club workout program you'd start with no equipment? No, it just depends. There's a ton with no equipment. There's some that have like some equipment and, whatever. So it depends. You have to decide first. Are you going to do a different program each week, which is how I originally started, or are you going to collectively do one program? So if you are going to, and then it also depends like what your people like. So Jennifer, who's teaching a Zumba class, might start a size Fit Club. Maybe they let, and so they would do size. Max 30 has no equipment. There is a modifier. She's really nice, so that could be an option. Plus people know Shaun T. So it just really depends. But I also think if your goal is really to try to like get them to understand the power of BOD, I would almost start with doing a different program each week and just like really looking through Beachbody On Demand and the entire library that we have and just creating a list of here are all the programs that require little to no equipment that we could do. You could do cardio flow from 80-day obsession. You could do cardio flow from a little more obsessed. You could do any of the Max 30 workouts. You can do any of the speed workouts. You don't need the markers, right? You can do core to force. Like so Turbo Jam, Turbo Fire, like there's more than you think there are. You would just have to, and that's so cool because then they're seeing, wow, like there are so many different programs and I could never get bored with this. This is so much value. So I really find if you're going to do the Fitness Fit Club, I would, especially because we're launching up to Transform 20, it's like show them all the value that there is in Beachbody On Demand. If this is something that you're going to start now, chances are you're probably not starting it till January. But anyway, I digress.
Any other questions? Don't do the whole cancel the video and then stop bombarding me with questions. There we go, Cassandra.
As far as advertising, obviously you said you put it in the paper and now we have social media. Would you do anything else, or it's more like you get started and actually it's those people doing the advertising because they're bringing your friends?
It's a little bit of both. So I would, nothing wrong. If you're starting something community-based, I would make old school flyers and I would put them up in the grocery store. If I was doing a school one, I'd make sure it went into every teacher's like mailbox. I don't know if we used to have like teacher mailboxes. I would pass them around my neighborhood. There was a time where I literally went like on every car and put flyers on like windshield things, so if it's a community-based thing, yeah, I would. I might even throw $5 on a Facebook ad and target just your community. Because, when you do a paid ad, you can literally target just your town or your town plus a 10-mile radius. So you might do that. But then, yeah, you're going to ask, your members to start really helping you spread the word. But I think a community-based fit club needs some old school kind of community-based marketing efforts, and so, yeah, I would make like some old school flyers and I would put those literally everywhere that I could.
Great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Great questions. Anyone else? Is anyone doing one? Has anyone booked a venue yet? I know Leanne's got one. I've got one. Bola, you've got one as well. Anyone else? Laura, you've got one too. Have you started it yet or have you just booked the venues?
That's exciting.
Fab. We've been talking about it a lot, Danielle. Like obviously with Tube Mindset and it's right at the forefront of my mind. And yeah, we've been talking. Go for it, Bola.
I emailed a few venues, but a lot of the mums were really interested. So I asked the school, and obviously I've been at work today, hence the full face of makeup. But I've just got an email from the deputy head that said that they would be something they're interested in. So I have to go and present my case to them. So, but a lot of the mums were quite excited. They say they used to remember when they were younger going to school, and their mums used to go and do aerobics in the school hall. So they're like, oh, that's really funny. So I'm like, okay, because I think that's really good, because you see a lot of mums in their active wear in the morning, and you go, are you going to the gym? And they're like, yeah, I'll see, I'll make it. So I thought, well, that would be good. So I'm hoping, because the school has got a really good hall, and they've got a big TV, they've got projectors, they've got everything. But obviously I think they might charge me, but the parents, I think, will be quite happy to put the money back into the school to cover, like you say, to cover the costs, because I don't really know, because they have like almost like a school, like society, like a school organization that creates all the events. So they always look in money for that. So I said, well, you can put the money towards them, so the parents are quite happy to pay for that. So yeah, I have to go and speak to somebody tomorrow, but yeah, it's exciting. I don't know why I didn't do it before.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that's really exciting. And the other thing is, it doesn't hurt to ask. You don't know who will say yes until you ask. So don't be afraid to, ask people, can I use this space? Or it might seem like a really out there idea to you, but the worst they tell you is no, and you won't die. I promise you will not die if somebody tells you no. So just make a list of like, what are all the possible places that you could do this at, and then just ask.
Yeah, one of the things, I don't know if you saw me doing it, everyone, or heard me on a call that we did the other day, was that for me to find the venue that I found in one of the towns that I'm going into, is I just posted into that community group, because every town now seems to have like a community group for their town, alongside a load of others. And I just posted in there, calling all former Slimming World or former Weight Watchers members, where did you used to go to your clubs? Because I'm looking to launch a new weight loss program in the area. And not only did I get a great suggestion of like 3 venues, and one of them I'm going with, which is a church that you literally take over the whole church. It's got like a massive, and it is, I am paying for it, but it's like £22 for 2 hours. It's nothing. And they've got a kitchen and everything for me to use, and she can't wait for me to get in there. But I also got 30 new people added to an information group, because they were like, what's this new program? And, these are all people I said former, because I thought I don't want to upset the existing ones. So, but you're going to get the existing ones as well. So it was like a win-win on both sides. You're already creating curiosity. I didn't tell them what it was, but I got a venue and the curiosity post in there as well.
That's awesome. I love that.
And friends as well, with the people that organised the group, because I was raving about how great the group was. So of course the connection then came with the people that organises the groups. And I'm sure Laura Bland will agree. Like, get in with people that run groups on Facebook, because that is powerful, really powerful.
Which leads me to my question.
Go on, Laura. Oh, sorry. Go on, Laura.
Okay, thank you. So the group that I'm kind of in with a lot of networking and stuff with is aimed at mums, and all of on the networking side, we advertise everything as, child-friendly events, and you can bring your kids along. It's not an issue and stuff. So with the fit clubs or the 2B clubs, I wouldn't obviously be including children in any of the activities as such.
You don't, but you could get them there. What I would do is find a teenager. I would find a teenager who would be willing, and you say, we have a teenager on deck to, kind of keep your kids entertained, and as long as they all have like their iPads and, like kids are easily entertained, that's what I would do. I would keep it kid friendly, and just like have a corner and, find a teenager, and even say, maybe if you could donate $1 to the teenager to pay for their gas to be here, or what 16-year-old or 15-year-old doesn't want to work for potentially $5 to $10, they'll do it, and there might be a teenager who would do it for free. But I would let them come for sure. Why not? We do that at like our Super Saturday events, so I think, that's how I would approach it, because I'd rather people be there than not be there, right? So, and if childcare is an issue, then find a teenager who, would love to just add that even to their college resume, that they, looked after children, during a, fitness and nutrition event weekly or something. Like there's always ways to kind of like convince a teenager to do that. So.
Okay. Can I just send there's a couple of questions then, Danielle. So
Yeah.
when you said for 2 years you did this, when did you start? Was it in the January or was it partway through the year?
I'm pretty sure I started in January because, and the reason I know that is because I joined in April of 2010. I sucked as a coach all the way until I went to this event in November of 2010. And at that event, I was like, okay, I'm doing this. Like, I'm going to start a fit club and whatever. So I started in January. Do I think it really matters though? No. But I do think that January is when everybody and their brother wants to get healthy. And so I think if you are not ready for January, you kind of miss a really big wave of people. So if I were you, I would put my head down and I would get focused so I was ready for January. Because what happens? Everyone makes their New Year's resolution. Everyone comes out of Christmas feeling really overweight and out of shape. And this is the year I'm going to get really healthy. And so if they can go to your fit club or they can go to your 2B mindset group, okay, like they're all in, they're really excited. So January is a perfect time. Could you start this in like the 3rd week of March? Absolutely. And I just think that you miss a really like just you can go to any gym. January is the busiest. Why? Because that's when people like, okay, it's new year, new me, right? So if you can get ready by January, I think it's great. Do I think it really matters in the long term? No. But if you can do it, be ready for it.
Do you think that in terms of, so when you started in January, was it pretty much, did you get an influx at the start or did it take you?
No, it was actually the opposite. It was slower, right? It was like 2 people, then it was like 5 people. And then over time, I think we grew to pretty much like between 15 and 20 every week because it was like some old, some new, coming in and out. Some weren't all my people I was bringing in. Some it was my people's people. But actually, I had a smaller start to begin with because it was later at night. And, like back then, again, like I said, we didn't have as many options. So it was like, hey, who wants to come do like dancey kickboxing? It's a little bit more of a hard sell to get people to want to come do turbo fire. I don't know if you've ever done that, but so for me, it was actually a slower start and then it kind of just kept ramping up to a really big thing where people were constantly coming. So, it really just depends. I think it depends on your community, how connected you are in the community, how excited people are for that, what other options there are around. But what I would say is if it starts slow, just look at that as an opportunity for you to get out all the kinks and work it out so that as more people start to join, it is really like nice and seamless and fluid.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool. Anyone else? I think you've ticked every box. So for those of you that haven't yet done it or booked one, are you going to go out now and look for a venue? Feeling more confident to be able to go out and do that?
Yeah.
And here's the thing, don't overthink that too. Just tell people, you don't have to have all the particulars. You can just say, hey, listen, I am looking for a space where I can get together a group of people in our community to come together and, work out and be motivated or whatever it is that you're going to say, or to, talk about our nutrition and our goals. Would you be open to, giving me some space? You don't have to have all the particulars. A lot of times it'll just be a back and forth conversation. So don't feel it is better, done is better than perfect. So just go out there, ask, see what you find, and you might be surprised. Like Bola said, like, she can't believe she didn't think of this sooner. It's like sometimes you just have to ask, and you'll be surprised how many people say yes.
Fantastic. Fab. Thank you so much, Danielle. You have an amazing day today.
Thank you. Good luck, you guys. I hope to be tagged in tons of Fit Club pictures and videos and lives and stories. So go out there. You're right in the perfect timing. People aren't ready now, right? So this is the time to get all your ducks in a row, to sort it out, to find your venue and be ready to go in January. I felt like sort was a really British word because Sandra caught my joke there.
It was very well pronounced as well.
Thank you. So I'm going to go see Shalene. And so you guys have a great night, and I look forward to seeing all your Fit Club success.
Awesome. Thanks, Danielle. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Danielle.
Cheers. Bye. Okay, guys, so that is that. Thank you for jumping on here tonight. I'm going to stop recording. So if you're watching this on replay as well, let us know what you think. If you've got any more questions, just tag it in the post so that anyone can answer them as well.